Now, perhaps it's unfair, but I think everybody's lazy because I work nonstop, 24/7, and partially on the weekends. So, okay, that's unfair. But I do think with this viral TikTok that we've got, people are lazy and entitled. And there's a lot to break down in this. Now, I'm biased as a business owner who's dealt with a lot of people, but we had this viral video. It's got 2.5 million views on TikTok where this woman is basically like, she's getting fired from her job, she's getting laid off, and then she takes the opportunity to criticize her boss. And what I think we're seeing here is the reason why it's going viral is because Gen Z and millennials are entitled, and this, I'm going to say right, I don't think this should go viral. Let me play this for you.
Hello.
How do we make it louder?
Is on the call. She's from our HR company. Hello. Tori is on the call. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. Unfortunately, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Will be terminated. Unfortunately, your employment with Hilton will be terminated effective immediately.
All right, let me pause real quick. She works some publication. She blurred out the faces and the name of the publication, but there's a giant logo behind them. Anyway.
Through the end of the month. And Tori is available to help with any questions or processes moving forward.
Can I ask why I'm being let go today?
Yes, we had the 90-day period, and in the end, we were just thinking it wasn't a great fit.
Can I ask for reasonings as to why you did not think it was a good fit?
No. Thank you and have a nice day. Click. Long pause. I'm going to tell you, because I was listening to this and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, the publication went out late. It went out with typos.
So let's break this down. I hope this is educational because I'm a business owner. Why did the woman, not HR, okay, so there's some woman, I don't know what she's doing. There's the boss, then there's the HR lady. The boss is like, it wasn't a good fit, bye. And the employee, whose face is not blurred, her name is Carson, she says, why am I being let go? Can I ask? And there's a pause. I would assume the pause is because the boss is waiting for clearance from the higher ups so that she knows what she can and cannot say legally. She goes on to mention that there was a 90-day period. I'm going to tell you my first thought. The reasons she's giving are a courtesy for no reason. And she should have said nothing. But I think she was trying to be nice to a certain degree, like we had some issues. Because I think the real issues aren't coming up. The reason why companies have a 90-day period, we do this. We do it differently. We contract people for like a set number of projects. And then if the projects work out well, we might offer a staff position. Completely normal thing to do. For those that have ever seen Spider-Man from the 2000s, Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire is like, I want that staff position. Yes, maybe one day you'll get it if we think you do consistently good work, and then we'll pay you that. Here's what I think. I think the employee is arrogant, and I'm going to say this. I don't believe her actions in the video are overly arrogant, but I think you can see why they're letting her go. Let me keep playing more, and then I'll explain.
I just feel like the design wasn't necessarily a good fit for the publication.
Can I offer some feedback to that?
No. Thank you and have a nice day. Click. Once again, the appropriate response not handled by the business.
Yeah.
Every step along the way, I met my requirements, and quite honestly, a lot of the reasonings as to why it was late was dependent upon you.
Okay. I met my requirements. I got to be honest. That's the last thing anybody wants to hear as a boss. You did the bare minimum, and there were some problems. We let you go. She says, I met my requirements. There were some errors. She said she had one typo. And then she says, it's your fault. Okay. All right. I'll break down. Yes, I think this chick's a millennial, to be honest. I millennials, man.
And I received materials often late from you, as well as not being able to control every ad thing that came in. And I've honestly been on top of everything. I've asked considerable amounts of being able to access things such as the production email to help these things get out more on time. And every step of the way, I was
So
met
what?
with roadblocks and
Don't care.
being told no.
Blah, blah, blah.
As my direct report, I never felt like you stepped up and asked me if I could use help. I
And
received
there it is,
very
isn't
little
it?
feedback from you, and often there were times where I did reach out to you without being told anything or having any reply or response whatsoever. I also found it very unacceptable to receive a message at 11 p.m. last night informing me that I was going to be laid off the next day with this meeting and then immediately revoking my access to everything. I do want to apologize to Kendall and to yourself for calling you so much, but when you do that to somebody, they're going to panic.
Okay. The reason why companies cut you off abruptly without notifying you is because it's the corporate world, man. I'm going to tell you a story. When I worked at Vice and I quit, I still had access, editorial access to their YouTube channel with millions of subs on my personal email. My personal email was connected for months. For months. I was really surprised. But here's the thing. I'm an honorable person. So when I noticed several months later that I still had access, I was like, okay, this has got to be an issue, right? And I messaged somebody. I was like, hey, dude, you need to check this, man. Like, I don't want to be involved in anything going wrong and me having, get out of here. They took me off. The reason why companies do this is because, guess what? A certain amount of people are vindictive and arrogant and angry and will retaliate. So that's why security escorts you out, because you don't know how people will respond. And she says she's freaking out. This video is going viral and people are praising her, being like, haha, you tell your boss. I'll play a little bit more.
I feel like I've done every step of the way of trying to do this job to the best of my abilities.
And it wasn't enough. Thank you and have a nice day. The worst thing she could be doing right now is exactly this. Gen Z, please do not take this as an example of what to do. She might get hired as a PR stunt. Fair. Flavor of the month. Bring her on and say we hired her because we're a good company. This is destructive. Look, when we have people that we work with we don't like, we always say, listen, we'll put in a good recommendation based on the things that we thought of the things you were doing that went really, really well. We don't disparage anybody who leaves. If there's personal beef or whatever, we leave it alone. And everybody's always complaining, Tim, how come this person doesn't work for you anymore? I'm like, do you want me to just get into a drama war with somebody? No, I want them to succeed. We just didn't like working together. Or I didn't like working with them. Something happened and it's nobody's business. Now, like, if some lady came here and took a dump on the floor, we'd call the police or something like that and be like, what is happening here? And then I'd come out and just say it. They clogged the toilet for the last time, damn it. But doing something like this and being like, it's your fault. It's you. This company is going to be like, well, after people are going to call, they're going to look at a resume, especially with this video, especially with the logo in the background. And they're going to say, how was she? And they're going to be like, she was arrogant, entitled, lazy. She did the bare minimum. She made mistakes. And then when we told her we were letting her go because she didn't pass probation, she published the video online and disparaged us with our corporate logo in. It was a huge mistake. We regret working with her and we never want to do it again. But by all means, this is the world that these people live in.
And quite frankly, you've made it very difficult.
So what? You are not owed my money. Let me say this too. Maybe this lady, this boss, whoever's talking, I don't know which one it is a bad person. Okay, well, she's there, she's doing the job, and the issue is hierarchy exists. And it may always be good, but you come in as a new employee and say, I'm better than your manager, and the manager's doing a bad job, and it's her fault. And you know what I would say as the boss? I'd be like, well, let me tell you. Right now, I am satisfied with the work of, let's call it, what was her name? Kristen? I don't know what her name is. You, I don't know. Okay. And so it's possible you are correct. And it's possible that the person I have overseeing this project is not good at their job. The issue, however, is that they are the person I have hired to lead this job and they have hit their marks and we are on track. That means if someone is going to come in and work on this project, they have to be able to work with this person. I'll say it again. Something that Gen Z and millennials need to understand. You might be the smartest person in the building. You might be smarter than the CEO. You don't have the access and the resources. And so your position is, how can I prove myself and engage in a trade deal that results in me getting more access, confidence of employees, this ain't it. And so again, I got an employee. Let's say they're a C minus. And I'm sitting here going like, well, they ain't the smartest cookie in a bunch, but they get the job done. And I've known them for a long time. We haven't had any problems, no lawsuits, nothing like that. They nod and get the job done. I wish we had someone better, but it's going pretty well. You know, C minus means, you know, we're accomplishing our goals. Could probably be better. Then comes some new employee, probationary, talking about how it's everyone else's fault but their own. And I'm going to be like, look, I don't know you. I don't want disruption. It is hard to get systems functional and profitable in the first place. You're fired. Goodbye. Let me show you this one. This is the world we live in. Unusual Whales said, Bill Gates says a 2-day work week is coming in just 10 years, thanks to AI replacing humans for most things. To which I said, and those who work 5 days will be rich, and the 2-day workers will complain and demand higher taxes than the 5-day workers. Let me just stress. I work like 16-hour days. I say like, not because I'm a Valley girl, because it's about. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. It depends on what I'm doing. And, you know, some days I will skate and we'll just exercise. And then some days we're filming a project in between. And it's basically that I'm working from 7 in the morning till 11 at night. So 16. And it's difficult. But we make a lot of money. We make a lot of money doing this. And I have to pay an insanely high tax rate. But hold on. What if I worked less? I'd get more bang for my buck. There is a diminishing return on doing more work. It is the scummiest of systems. I find it despicable entirely. That if I sit here and say, we can add, I could do a show on Sunday. Why? I'm going to get even less for doing it. I'm going to work twice as hard for less than half the money because of the way this government system works. So that's my point. It's a 5-day work week. Not for me. No, I work, you know, probably like 12 to 16 hours Monday through Friday with a couple hours on the weekends because you're always on as the boss. And I'm getting paid less because of taxes. It sucks. So I said, if you go to a 2-day work week, the people who want to work 5 will have to pay higher taxes. The people working 2 days will complain because the 5-day workers are rich. They're going to make a middle-class median income off 2 days. And they're going to be like, that guy who works 5 days is making 3 times as much as me. Tax him. And he's like, but I'm working 3 times as much as you. I don't care. You shouldn't be allowed to have the money. Stop working. It's a stupid system. It makes no sense. Well, this guy on X says, so you think we should be working 7 days a week for corporate overlords? Not very populist of you there, buddy. When I said we should be working 7 days a week. Like, why? Oh, man, some people are dumb. And so then I responded with, so you're saying you never want to work at all and think others should pay your bills and clean your house and drive for you and carry you up the stairs? How very communist of you. I know that most of you who watch this show are capable of understanding the logical point that I was making. Literally me complaining about taxes is in no way making a point that people should work all day, every day. And he said, super good faith response using the same logic as Robert Barron's did when labor pushed to get the 5-day work week, blah, blah, blah. What, asking for lower taxes? And I said, it was an IQ test and you failed. And he says, not a response. Well, you know, a lot of people, no, you dip-ish. He just reversed your hyperbolic statement back at you. The internet is undefeated. And he says, yep, aside from the fact that he's morally inconsistent and his positions don't make sense together. Well, bro, if your IQ is sub 100, you wouldn't understand what I'm saying. I can't control for that. That's not my fault. My point is this. We want people to work hard. We want people who work hard to be rewarded. And we have many problems. People who are lazy and don't want to work blame the people who do for being rich. Look, the reason I'm putting these together, you get this one being like, actually, it's not my fault. I couldn't do what I was asked to do because you were late. It was your fault. So what? I cannot stand this. We had that, you know, shout out to Tara Palmieri, who was on the show, the journalist from Brooklyn. Because one of the debates we were having is like, I think it was in the green room, actually. You don't deserve my money, okay? You do not deserve my money. I don't have to give it to you. That's why I can't stand about these people. I work to generate value and engage in trade. Money is a representation of the value that I've traded for somebody, with somebody. Now I'm holding it, and there are people like, I would like some of that. And I say, yes, you would, indeed. What can you trade for it? And they go, nothing, just give it to me. And I'm like, huh? No, goodbye. There are people who are like, you shouldn't be able to hire someone unless you're going to give them a certain amount of money. Then I don't hire them. Like, it's, dude, I got a crazy story for you. I was playing poker the other day, and I tipped the dealer. It was a $300 game, meaning the max you could buy in was $300. And I tipped the dealer $100. And one of the guys at the table lost his mind. He was like, whoa, 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 hold on. You can't do that because you're taking money off the table. It's called going south. But no, I'm tipping the dealer. And everybody was like, bro, just tipped the dealer. And he's like, yeah, but I tipped him $100. And the dude got pissed. And I said, it's my money. I can do what I want with it. Who are these people in this world where they're like, you have to hire me. You can't fire me. And we should tax you for working harder. It's a silly system indeed. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there because I don't need to rant for 20 years. My point is, this video goes viral. Where are the comments at? I don't want to log into TikTok. But it's basically like, actually, there we go. That was so embarrassing for them. HR professional here, they did a horrid job. Make them uncomfortable. They were so ill prepared for this. Why is no one ready? Girl, you ate. The silence was so loud. Bro, I hope someone hires her. I hope someone hires her because it ain't going to be me. I'm going to be like, you put your company on blast because you were mad they didn't give you what you didn't deserve. And she's going to be like, well, I did a good job. I did deserve it. No, you don't. No. Bro, you can come to me, put your feet up on the table, smelling like crap. And then I'm like, this guy's terrible. Why should I hire him? And he goes, because I'm going to make you $1 billion. And I'm the smartest guy in the business. I'll be like, no, I don't care. Get out. You can come in here being a normal looking guy and you can go, to be honest, man, I've never worked in media before. I have no idea how to operate a camera, but, and then you tell me a joke and the joke's funny. And then I go, interesting. It's a funny guy. I might be able to find a position for him that benefits the company in some way. Sir, you're hired. What is the trade proposition? He's a funny guy. He said, I will exchange for you the humor that I possess. It will appear on camera and people will enjoy it. You give me money for that. I say, okay, what do? I say, those funny bits and jokes will get a lot of traffic and views from people who like the guy. And then I can sell ads on it. And I can do sponsorship deals and we can get paid. And then I will transfer the money to him for the share of which is his. And we will keep the share for which is mine. And that's called running a business. But this woman's like, I'm good and it's your fault. So what? You can be the smartest person in the room. Like, there's this video from, I think the movie show is Suits or something. I can't remember what show it was. It was a great clip. And the kid walks in and sits down. He's all smarmy. And they're like, we can offer you X amount, X million. And he goes, no. They said something like, why do you want to work here? He's like, no, you tell me why I should work here. And they were like, no. And he was like, listen, I'm the best of the best. And I can make this much money and do this much. And I know it. I can go wherever I want. And they were like, okay, then go there. Get out. And he was like, what? And they were like, dude, we don't want to work with you. This is what people don't realize. Anyway, I don't know. I was ranting about work stuff. I'm going to wrap it up there. We got to record another one. We got the culture war coming up. Thanks for hanging out. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast, and we'll see y'all in the next segment.